Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to Deep Conversations and Transformations. My name is Lynette Gray, and my intention behind these interviews is that everyone involved positively transforms. And tonight I'm joined by a powerful woman, Jill Ritchie. And Jill is an accredited life coach, an energy healer, a motivational speaker, and a guest at this year's UK Blog Awards. She's also a mum of two. But Jill's path hasn't always been this way. For 16 years, Jill worked in a leadership role in a bank, a global bank, for 16 years. Oh, Jill is watching. Jill, can you come on? Hi, Jill. For some reason, I have tagged you, so I don't know. Is it letting you on? It's not asking me to. Hopefully we can connect. Okay, I'm just going to try and add you. It says it's adding you. I can't wait to get you on here. Oh, is it going to work? Yes, you're on.
I'm here. Hi.
Yes, amazing. Sounds good, yeah? Can you hear me?
Good, yes. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, I can hear you. Let's go. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. Your signal's a bit, it's fine. I think it's back.
Oh, is it?
Right, that's it. I like your flamingo in the background.
Oh, I know. It's my little friend.
It's so cool. I love flamingos. Yes. So I was just telling everyone that, you know, you're on this incredible path now. But before this incredible path that you're on, being a life coach, a healer, motivational speaker, you were in a role for 16 years. Can you tell us about your role and what happened?
So I was in a corporate leadership role, and I've actually not always as a child, actually had sort of, when I was growing up, I wanted to do different things, but I fell into the world of banking, and I've been in banking for over 16 years, and I thought it was just my thing that I was doing, and I would probably be there till retirement. But so different, so different to what I'm doing now. Which is amazing.
And you said that, you know, from the outside looking in, it looked like you had it all, but deep within you, you felt really, was it anxious and fearful?
Oh, completely. So it did. So to a lot of people that knew me, life was good, and I was very lucky to, you know, compared to, can you hear me okay, Lynette? Is it breaking up?
It just jammed a few times, but keep going, I think we're fine.
So from the outside looking in, things were good. But I would say a lot of the time I was happy, but things really changed for me after I had my children, Lynette, and then I went back to work, and things just felt so different for me in terms of how I felt and how I believed people had thoughts about me at that time. You know, I thought I was constantly being compared, and therefore I compared myself to others, and I had sleepless nights over it, and it just grew to becoming, I was just a ball of like being anxious a lot of the time. And I know that a lot of people resonate with this story, because so many people have reached out to me before and said, God, that's how I feel. But it's so interesting, because when you're in that environment, and again, a lot of people will relate to this, no one really talks about it, because no one ever wants to say, I'm really struggling, I feel really like I'm under pressure, or I feel like I'm not sleeping, this is really getting to me in such a bad way. But since I've come out of that, the number of people that have connected with me to say that's how I feel, and it must be well over 100 people that's connected with me to say that. But we just never talk about it, because we have this fear of looking weak. You know, I'll be overlooked for things, I'll be judged, and it just completely consumes you to the point that your confidence is like rock bottom. Well, mine was anyway.
And how many years did you sort of suffer with that sort of fear and anxiety? Was it just towards the end of the 16 years, or had you been in it quite a while?
Quite a while. I would say where it got really bad was probably about 3 or 4 years.
Right.
3 or 4 years, which is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time to be anxious.
But again, I just thought, I have to accept this. When you're in a role like that, you are paid quite a good salary. And
Yes.
therefore, my belief was, life's tough.
Yeah.
Jobs like that are tough, you know? So when you believe that, you just go back to, well, that's how you're brought up. Well, you know, when you get paid a salary like that, you have to take that shit, right?
Yeah.
So you just take it. That's just my world. That's my life. And because you live with the lifestyle, you know, if you get paid a salary, and then obviously your house matches that, your car matches that, your holidays match that. And then suddenly you're like, well, what else can I do? I'm never going to ever, I'm not, you know, going to do anything else. You know, nothing will ever pay me what this job pays me. But it was so interesting because when I look at that job that I did, actually a lot of the time I was totally clueless. I was winging it. Like, I was, because I actually, do you know, I was winging it because, and I laugh now, right? But I think that fear was, I was always waiting on someone tapping me in the shoulder going, how are you in this job?
Well, like, you're a fraud. You're a fraud.
But I was actually a total fraud, right? I was, because I was never supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And I think because I knew deep down, when I started doing the inner work, and we'll talk about that, I knew deep down that I was never supposed to be there. You know, and I think that a lot of the time, the universe is trying to send you signals to say, this isn't for you, but you're going, no, it is. I have to do this because, you know,
you're conditioned.
You are conditioned. And I actually probably never, deep down, again, being completely honest, thought I was worthy of that job.
Yeah.
So therefore I was like, I'm going to get caught out here. Like, and I would make a joke of it, but I love the people side, Lynette. So being around people and developing people, I never ever felt that, you know, in terms of that I would compare myself to anyone at that, you know, in my level, or I would never ever doubt myself that I was never a good people manager, because I always had the person's, you know, interest at heart, and I really connected with people. So that was never a limiting belief in myself.
Yeah.
But everything else, you know, I was like, how did I get this? Like, they all know what they're talking about. And I think that was the truth. And I think I was like, you can't do this. And I just didn't want to, but I was in it so deep. I was like, how am I going to get out of this?
So when did you actually have, somebody asked, when did you have that light bulb moment of, shit, I need to get out of this environment and I need to go now? When did that happen?
I felt like that for about 2 years really badly. I mean, at the time I was going through a lot of personal stuff. Like my mum, who I'm so close to, and I've shared this a lot with people. Like my mum and my sister and I were very close, very, very close family. And my mum had gone through a battle with cancer for, 15 years on and off. And at that point, things were really, really bad. You know, she was really, really poorly. And I remember being so disconnected from my work, my peer group as well, who, you know, actually, and it wasn't them. I used to think it was them, but it wasn't. And I'll go on to that. It was me.
Yeah.
I felt so disconnected to everyone there that I just wanted to fit in so much, because I knew I never really belonged there, right?
Yeah.
But I was so desperate. Validate me. To the point that I was working like hours, like, and because in that environment, people are in at 6:30 in the morning, they never leave till 8:00 at night, and then everyone's trying to outdo each other. Not even intentionally, they just like, oh, someone's in at 6:30, I better get in at 6:15. And then when I wasn't that person, because I had kids, I would maybe come in at about 8:15. I knew people looked at me like, and I thought, oh God. So then I would go home, I'd put the laptop on, I'd be like, watch this, I'll do another couple hours, I'll work till 10 tonight. And I was never present with my kids. And I remember getting in the car so stressed out, and my boss would phone me, and she was very demanding. Again, you know, it was just the way it was. It wasn't her, it was the way I reacted to it. But I just couldn't cope at that point. And I remember the moment I got my kids in the car, and I'm ashamed to admit this, Lynette, but I'm very much about speaking my truth, and hopefully that allows others to. Yeah. I remember chucking them in the car and just being so stressed about going to work and feeling sick. I hadn't even put little Jude's seatbelt on, and he sneezed and like snot explosion, and I just slammed the brakes on and screamed with rage that I had to then stop the car and go out and get him changed or a tissue or whatever. I didn't have time for this. And he was like 4 years old or 5 years old, and I was like, And
what am I
he
doing?
was, and I thought, what am I doing? And I would love to say that was the moment I went, enough's enough. But no, I continued. But hating myself constantly, going to bed at night, falling asleep, but waking up at 4 a.m. constantly. But I was so convinced. I never wanted to tell anyone how stressed I was. And at that point, my mum was going through some really heavy treatment. I never felt present with her. My stepdad was like having to drive her to the Western every day for treatment. I wasn't present, although I was in a job I hated. And I just felt, I remember I used to go into the office, and anyone, if who's on this that worked with me may actually know this. I used to shut the door in one of the offices and just cry. And I remember breaking down, and one of the girls I worked with, she came in and she's like, you need time off. And I was like, I can't, because I'll be judged. They'll think I'm weak. And that was my belief. And if I'm honest, that does happen, right? It does happen in an environment like that. I'm going to be honest. And eventually I was like, right, I need a bit of time off. I had like 3 or 4 weeks off just, so not that long, but it gave me that moment and time to be there with my mum and take that pressure off my stepdad, who was so stressed out himself, and drive my mum to her treatment every day and just being there for her. You know, to have those conversations with her, because that was a really dark time for us as a family. We talked about death and, you know, what would happen if, and I remember thinking, what was that? Why was I so scared to take time off? Of fear of judgment? And really, it doesn't matter. That wasn't important. What was important was being present with my kids, being present with my mum. That was what was important. And I just started, like, I went to the doctor and they were trying to give me medication, and I was like really scared to take it. I didn't take it, but again, that thing in my head that, oh no, I don't want to be a person that takes medication. So what I used to do was steal my mum's medication. I used to steal my mum's sleeping pills, right? Because I didn't want it on record that I officially needed it. I mean, when I think that now, I think, what? But I was self-medicating with hers. She was like taking them, and I'm thinking, oh, it was just messed up. And I think we just get so consumed with noise that we actually never like hold space for ourselves and take a breath and go, what is actually happening here? What is happening? And again, it just so happened that the universe came and gave me a little gold nugget, and redundancy was coming up at work.
Is that what happened? So yeah, because somebody asked, how did you manage to walk away from that job and income knowing that you had responsibilities?
Well, yeah, so I had only been in that particular bank for 8.5 years. So I wasn't one of the lucky ones that was there for 20 years and got this big payout. I actually didn't get that much because I hadn't been there that long. But I remember thinking, I'm taking it, because it was just toxic for me at that point. It was done. And but in answer to that person's question, I was then offered another job that paid me a significantly more amount of money every year to take it, and I didn't take it. So I didn't take it because I remember it was in another bank. It was in another bank, and I remember being terrified, thinking, how can I back, knowing that this income is like, this makes a huge impact on my kids' life. How can I go from that? Because I was like, what am I going to do? And I remember saying to Daryl, my partner, what will I do? And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to work with people. I want to help people. And I feel like this isn't the path I'm supposed to go down. I'm supposed to go down a different path. And I remember being scared, and he was so supportive, because he saw he saw how bad things were for me. And I'm not going to sit here like I'm making him out to be like this saint. He's just like, he's a regular guy who is amazing, right? But we had just moved into this house that I'm in now. We had more than doubled our mortgage, right? And I was like, I'm going to have to take this job. And he's like, don't do it then. I will support you. You have enough to last you for a certain period of time. And I said, but we're going to take the kids to Disney. We were going to do this. He went, Jill, none of that matters, because he knew I was in a bad way. I mean, I was drinking a lot. And he said, you know, you need to do what's right for you, and I'm totally here to support you. We will cut our cloth. We won't go on holiday. And that was it. I just was like, right, let's do this. Let's do what I'm actually, and I truly believe, is my purpose.
Yes,
and
I truly believe it is too.
Truly believe it.
So when did this all happen? Was it 12 months ago just?
Yes. So actually, exactly a year ago, I'd never read a self-help book in my life.
Wow. So what were the first steps? What were the first steps then? And how did you get onto this sort of more spiritual, like really looking inward path?
So he actually gave me my first book, my partner, Daryl, he must, do you know, bless him, because guys, oh no, this is a generalisation, right? I don't mean it like this, but the guys around my kind of network and stuff aren't all kind of, I didn't know anyone that meditated before I started doing it. Like that was not anything that happened, that the people that I was connected with. And but he had obviously found it difficult because of everything that we were going through as a family, to then say to me, look, I think you're drinking quite a lot of wine at night to numb this pain. I was like, I need a wine. And it became a habit. And I think he found it difficult to speak to me. So he hands me this book. And he said, The Secret.
Oh,
The Secret. He hands me this book, and he was like, I've heard a guy at my work says it's a good book. Eh? And I was like, wow, right, okay, I'll read it. And the first few pages, I remember, Lynette, I was like, what a load of rubbish. I thought, what? I thought, so we attract it. We are the creators of our reality. What we give out, we get back. And I was like, no way. I mean, it's not my fault that this happens to me. It's not my fault that I'm in this job. It's not my fault my boss hates my guts and what I believed at the time. But actually, I thought I was so desperate. Millions of people say this book's amazing, so I'll keep going with it. And it was just like one of those moments that I went, something happened. Something shifted in me. Yeah. And I remember it was like something kind of physically lifted. And I thought, oh my God, is it really this simple?
Yeah.
And this whole time I've been overcomplicating life. And I was like, right. So I went and started reading that, and then I read The Miracle Morning.
Amazing, yes.
Amazing. Again, the catalyst. And I just thought, oh my God, I'm supposed to do this. And I remember thinking, I'm going to share this with people because people need to know about this. As I said at that point, Lynette, obviously we've connected right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't know a single person that meditated. And I remember doing it, and I was like 1 minute into it, I can't do this. And now I meditate for at least an hour every day.
Yeah, you're on it big time.
Oh, I love it.
So when, we've both done Mindful Talent, my brother's course now, when did you then go from reading the self-help books to then training to be a life coach?
So it was just like a calling. I honestly, as I got into meditation, I had to obviously do it for 30 days to form a habit. And I was so religious. I thought, I'm doing it. And then it started just getting easier and easier. And then I was having a conversation again with Daryl, and I said, I want to be a life coach. And he's like, do it. And I think just having him saying, do it, I was like, yes, I'm going to do this. And then what happened was I was asking around a few people that I actually worked with, and it was my leaving night. And one of the girls I worked with had said to me, do you know a guy called Gary who used to work in the bank? And then I connected with him on LinkedIn, and then I asked him, do you know anyone that does life coaching courses? He said, yeah, actually, Ali. He introduced me to Ali, and then as soon as I spoke to your brother, within 20 minutes, I was hooked. That was it. I'm like, oh my God, I need this. And then I joined, and I started last April.
Yeah, so, it's been so quick, your journey.
It's been so quick. I was terrified. I remember going on the first call and looking at everyone on there and those limiting beliefs. I mean, my God, talk about self-sabotage. I remember it was my little boy's birthday, Eden's 4th birthday, and I was shaking. I was like, and I remember looking at everyone going, oh, they're all smarter than me, more intelligent, posher. They're going to think I'm rough. Oh, I don't even want to speak. I bet they think I've got this really bad accent, and Oh God, honestly, I was like, I bet he's a lawyer or he's a CEO. Oh my God. And they were talking about what they did, and straight away I'm thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And that happened for the first few calls on it, if I'm honest. I had to totally work. Like, I'm talking right now because I've truly connected with my purpose, but that wasn't always like that. I was so scared, and you've just got to push past it. When you know what your soul purpose is, you need to push past the fear, because the ego knows you so well, it will pull you back at every single opportunity. And when you know your soul purpose, you've got to just believe. And that's why I've got this necklace that says believe. I wear it every day. Believe.
Believe. And I think, you know, those first time on those Zoom calls are pretty scary, especially when you're waiting for your turn. You're like, oh shit.
And I talk, as you know, I talk all the time, and you have to keep it succinct, specific and perfect. And Michelle, poor Michelle that ran Mindful Talent with Alistair, she used to be like to me,
time out,
flashing her 3 Ps up.
So you talk about the meditation, and somebody asked, how do you encourage mindfulness in your sons, if you do at all?
I do, actually. That's a funny one, because the kids, I first of all started in the car going down to school in the morning. What are you thankful for, boys? And first they were like, my breakfast, my Cocoa Pops this morning. But I thought that's okay, actually, because they're only little, right? And it gets them into the practice. And now they'll talk about, they've started saying more things about the sky, but that takes time. And I think what they've really noticed is such a change in me, because I am so much calmer. Like, don't get me wrong, do I still lose it when, for the 20th millionth time, you're trying to get your shoes on? We're late, and I'm always like running into the school late. But do you know what? I don't stress about it. I don't beat myself up. And when I'm calmer, I'm able to almost come away from the initial and then observe it. What is this? Is this that important? We think it's important when we're losing our shit with them, right? But it's a habit, and we're triggered by habitual responses to things, you know, because we have a fear of being late, or because we've been conditioned to be on time or be a certain way, or how our kids look, or how. But when we get really clear on what is really important, is that these kids, who are little sponges, feel loved unconditionally and supported. I just notice such a change in my kids, how they respond to me. And plus they know mummy's meditating. They actually don't even come in now. They just go and walk away. Mummy's meditating.
It was the same with Elias, you know, like, I think, you know, I've totally changed from when my parenting has changed massively. And anytime I come home from a course, or I've done like some sort of seminar, he just really notices, because I am more present, less like shouty.
I know.
So it's amazing. It's a real ripple effect when you start to go inward yourself, isn't it?
Oh, completely.
That's amazing. How do you stay motivated, somebody asked, now that you've got your own business and you're doing all these amazing things?
Do you know, I really believe the key to staying motivated is to practice gratitude. And it's so easy, and I know we've talked about this before, how it's so easy to get attached to the outcome of something. Because when you've got your own business, it's scary, because you go from having a set income to trying to set up, you know, and have the bones of a business and build everything around it. But actually, when you start to connect, and what I do every morning and practicing gratitude is what I have in my life, and the energy that brings, and the space that gives me, and the freedom that gives me and allows me, and it shifts my energy. I also think staying connected to people that are like-minded is really key, because, and there's a lot of people that will watch this that don't have that support network around them. I've been so lucky with my sister and my mum and stuff, like, have really supported me with this. But I know a lot of people don't get that. And some people don't get you, because I know, like, when I started doing this, I know that probably people were like, what a weirdo. What is she doing? What is What's she talking about? And people don't get it. That is why you need to tap into. There's so many people out there like that you can connect with that, and when they're like-minded like you, they want to give. Like, I want to give to people all the time, and people that reach out to me, Jill, can you help me with this or that, or I'm thinking about going on this, can you maybe give me some advice? I'm like, give, because the universe rewards you completely. And I know how much value connecting with people like yourself with the Mindful Talent group then leads on to other people that you connect with, and these people really motivate you. Plus, I invest in myself, Lynette, something I'd never ever done before, because the fear of parting with money to invest in myself, I was like, it's not tangible. Like a handbag, £700, boom. A holiday, £2,500, boom. But when the bag's away, the holiday's done, you still have these limiting beliefs and these thoughts and fears. So I invest in myself, and I will continue to do that. I've got a life coach myself. I'm in a mentoring program with your brother, who's my mentor. And I'm part of an incredible group who, the power of people with that energy that can just lift you, because we all need it. We don't walk around motivated all the time. That's BS. You don't. But you need to connect with people, or connect with something that will motivate you, and do the inner work every day. Every day. It's non-negotiable for me, the inner work.
Yep. And people might think, oh, that's boring, but would you rather feel like really amazing, or just carry on how you're feeling?
Oh, completely. People will say, oh, that's boring, but I think that's a limiting belief as well, because what people think is, what, you sit in silence for 10 minutes, that can't work. It's too logical. It must be hard. You've got to go to the doctors, and you've got to go through this whole process. But we think life is hard, and if we are constantly thinking life's hard and saying life's hard, to have everything you want in your life, you need to work 15-hour days, 6 and 7 hour days a week. There's got to be blood, there's got to be sweat, there's got to be tears. Guess what? That's what happens to you. That's what happens. If it's that hard, you shouldn't be doing it, or you're not doing it right.
I'm going to have a look at the questions. Do you have any hints or tips on coping techniques when you're dealing with stressful situations at work or in your personal life?
Meditation. Seriously, it is. It is, honest to God, meditation. And what we are triggered, right? So when you're in work, there's definitely people that will trigger you, and situations that trigger you. Even with your kids, your partner, right? There's a trigger for you, right?
Triggered all the time.
You're triggered all the time. But actually, when you start, and I shared something live I did yesterday about when you get embroiled in a power battle with people, like they've said this, so I'm going to say this, because they're not going to get the better of me, because I'm not weak, and I'm going to prove. And what happens, it becomes a battle, and you're both like this. What you need to almost do, right, is step back and observe what's going on. Because when you're giving your energy away, you're fighting a losing battle, because you might think, I got my point across there, I showed hard, or I showed him, not to mess with me. But what happens is your energy is zapped. Your energy is zapped. And I think, get curious as to why people behave the way they do. And this is something that I've only actually really started tapping into the last few months. And that's through working with my coach as well. And it's getting curious about why people behave the way they do. Because a lot of people attack and I can be unkind and say unkind things to you that we are then triggered by, that then lead us to either attack them back or play small. We will then go withdrawn and say, oh God, they think this about me, I don't want them being unkind, so I'll just start playing small, because if I play small, they'll like me. I'm not a threat to them. And it's almost actually observing that and saying, I wonder why. Isn't it interesting why they're behaving that way? And I know it's not always easy, but definitely take a breath and know that it's not you. When someone is being like that to you, it is nothing to do with you. And it is everything to do with pain that they are going through. And once you start practicing that, it's practice. Everything's practice, right?
Yes.
Everything's practice. But once you almost, and it's not that you need to go into a room at work or go out to your car and meditate, but go away from a situation, take a few breaths, and almost saying this, and I say this all the time, will this serve me? Will having a confrontation with this person serve me? Does this serve me? Letting them have this impact on me? This is nothing to do with me. This is about them and what is going on in their life. And there must be some pain in their life that they feel that they need to react. So knowing yourself and knowing that it's not about you really will give you that bit of comfort and satisfaction that you're okay, it's not you. And it does take practice. It does take practice.
It does take. So it says, when someone has hurt you, how do you show compassion? I suppose you've just said that. And how do you let go of something? You know, if somebody has really triggered you, how do you, Jill, let go of that?
Oh, God, so I have been triggered. And actually, recently, been triggered. And it's difficult. But again, it does go back to that. Because what we can do, we can get stuck in the, why are they doing this to me? Why are they doing this to me? And then it can consume you. But what you need to know is that this is just old ego. This is your ego, right? Connect with here. Try hard to get out of your head and connect with your why. People are threatened by things that they don't know. People are threatened by people doing well. And again, that's their shit that's going on. And so many people that when there's things that go wrong in their life, and I've done it too. I did it. I used to blame people for things that happened to me. You know, oh, there's this to me and this has happened to me at work and boom, boom, boom. But I was the creator of that because I truly believed and I only really recently worked this out, that I didn't feel I was supposed to be in that job, right? So I was maybe putting on a show that I was, but in here it wasn't. So 50% of me is saying one thing, but the other 50% of me is blocking the response that I should have been getting from people at work because I wasn't ever supposed to be there. And my heart and soul knew it. So I was creating that reality. I didn't believe I was supposed to be there. So guess what? I never felt like I fitted in. And when you really get connected to your why and your purpose, because everyone's got one. It's taken me 38 years to figure mine out, but everyone's got one. Once you figure it out and just keep meditating, keep practicing, even just if you're a brand new beginner, just try a guided meditation, right? A few minutes every day for 30 days. You can get them on YouTube. Everything is at your fingertips.
Insight timer.
Insight timer.
So
amazing.
Many free meditations.
Amazing. Insight timer. That's an amazing app. And that's something that you shared with me, which is incredible.
It's so good. And our friend Andrew Johnson's on there.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God.
Listen to his Scottish beautiful voice. He's an amazing guy.
He has got an amazing voice. And again, I didn't even know who Andrew was. And then I signed up for his emotional freedom technique.
Oh, yes.
Of course. But again, you connect with so many people when you find your true purpose and your true path.
So what is your why? Now that you know it, share it with us.
So this took me a while to work out, right? Because your standard response is, my kids, right? Because you go, oh, I better say that because it's really bad if I don't say that. And of course, your kids are your why, right? Ultimately, there's the no love like it, right?
Yeah.
But actually, my why is actually, I feel like, is my gift now to help as many people as possible get out of their own way and connect with their soul purpose and let go of the ego and the stories they have told themselves. Because how many times do you hear people saying, oh, I'm not that type of person. Oh, I'm too old now. I've only got 10 more years left till I retire.
Yeah, too old for what?
Right? I know, you're like, you're not dead. Do you know, and I heard this somewhere, and I can't remember where I heard it. The guy that created Grey Goose, he was 72 years old when he created Grey Goose.
Well, it's like the guy who done KFC, Colonel, whatever his name is. He was in his 60s. Come on, he sold chicken.
I know, you've still got, like, we think it has to be this one way, and it doesn't, honestly. And I will always say life coaching changed my life. This journey I am on, it has changed my life because it allows someone impartial to hold space for you, because we never allow ourselves to really to have that space to speak our truth, because we're ashamed of things that we've done and we let our past haunt us, and our stories just get, but we're brought up to think with your head, don't think with your heart, because you'll get heartbroken. Keep a bit back, always think with your head. But that is just like, when we think with our heads, we're never truly connected with the real us. And it's actually, it's hard though, right? It's hard and it takes practice. But something as simple as starting with a guided meditation, which is what I did, in less than 12 months, my life has completely changed.
Completely transformed.
That's why I know I'm like, I need to be sharing this with people, because it's like so anyone can do it.
So you talk about letting go, and that's part of your reason why, helping people to let go. And somebody asked, "What do you have a book that you can recommend on letting go?"
There is a book.
There is a book, yeah.
There is a book, Letting Go by David R. Hawkins.
Amazing.
Letting Go, David R. Hawkins.
So afterwards, you can put a link to that for people, because I can't remember who asked that, but somebody was asking about a book about letting go. What else are you going to say there? Was there another recommendation?
There's loads. And when you're a beginner, I definitely think like The Secret. You can also watch it on Netflix. And, you know, things like The Miracle Morning, definitely good, because there's so many things that you'll just resonate with. Letting Go is quite a hard read in terms of, it's quite deep. I love it, but had I started with that, I would have completely switched off. So just build it up if you're a beginner. Build it up. Gabby Bernstein does quite good ones as well. They're not, you don't have to overly like think, what the hell is this?
What's this language?
What is this? You know? But yeah, and again, do you know who is amazing? Wayne Dwyer.
Oh, Wayne Dwyer. When I was like in the postnatal depression, I read all his books. It was what lifted me up and got me out to a different space. Dr. Wayne Dyer is the one.
He is absolutely phenomenal. Like he has reduced me to the point I get emotional when I meditate and stuff. Now I go like into heart space and but it's when I listen to Wayne Dyer speak, if you watch him on YouTube, okay, whoever wants to do that, he is just this voice and he just transports you, and he just keeps it so simple. He doesn't really overcomplicate it. And he says things like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I think that's it. I'm still the same person as I was outwardly, but all I did was start looking at things differently, and I went into the world with an open mind. Because when you don't have an open mind, you just get offended by everything. You know, you get offended by someone's wearing something or the way someone's language is, you just get offended. You could actually think of 1,000 things probably in a day that offend you. But when you're like that, you're just in a space of, there's actually no space for you to bring in anything into your life except, you know, hostility, anger. And when you let go of that and just keep it so simple, you know, like that quote I just gave from him, it's so simple. Open your mind to the fact that anything is possible.
And open your heart.
Oh, God, open your heart.
Open your heart, soften your heart.
So God, you do.
What would you say up until this point has been your greatest achievement so far?
Oh my God, right. Greatest achievement is probably pushing past my fears to become the person that I was always supposed to become.
Yeah, definitely.
And I believe that that's my gift now, to help people. And it's beautiful. Like the moment I pushed past those fears, and it wasn't always easy, like I shared that with you, I was like, but I knew deep down what my sole purpose was. Once I felt it, I'd never felt a feeling like it. And you've got to just push past it, and everything just changes.
And what do you want your legacy to be? It's a big question.
It's a big question.
Just go with your heart. Go with whatever comes out.
Probably a demonstration of the power of connecting with yourself, letting go of what's not serving you in order to become the person that helps other people achieve their lifelong dreams. Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. Boom.
So, like, before we wrap this up, is there anything else you have got to share with anyone? Like, you're an energy healer and a motivational speaker. I'm dying to hear you speak soon, because I've heard that you're very powerful at speaking.
Do you know, it's funny because that's something I dreaded. When I was in the corporate world, I used to feel sick about speaking, sick. But when you love what you do, everything changes. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. And I know that now. And for anyone that's watching this that feels like that, if it's that difficult, you maybe need to look at what you're doing, because it should never feel that way. Nerves are good, right? And I will be nervous when I'm speaking at something, of course, but never to the point. I used to be like, I hate this, like over and over again. So guess what? The universe just gave me it back tenfold. Here's some more shit. You're saying it's shit, so take some more. Oh no. So and I've got like my Facebook group, and I'm starting my group program, starts in the end of February. I'm super excited.
When does that start? Tell us all about it, actually. That's a good, and once I repost this, please put the links to how people can get in touch with you, Instagram,
amazing,
your website. But tell me what you've got coming up then.
So I've got a speaking event at Standard Life on the 21st of February. I'm excited about that. And then I've got my group program that starts on Monday, the 25th of February. It's going to run for 3 months, and I've limited it to 6 people, so we can really get deep and really get the energy in an amazing space, so that all 6 of these incredible women
So it's all women.
It's all women. Yeah. I did put it out to men too, and I actually do coach men and women. Yeah. But for this programme, it's been women. So I'm actually thinking about, because I've had another couple of messages, I'm thinking about maybe running another one on a Sunday morning. So I will let people know about that. But it's all about limiting beliefs, breaking through the BS, breaking through the stories. It's going to be so transformational, and I am so excited to help people completely transform.
And is there any spaces left in that one?
Well, there actually wasn't, but one of the girls who had said she was going to do it, she just pulled out for reasons for herself. She can't continue with it, so there was one space left.
There's one space left if anyone wants to get in touch with Jill. That's a 3-month programme.
3 months. 3 months, starting the 25th of February. And I've vetted everyone, so all the 5 people that are due to start are just amazing. And it's going to be such a safe space for you to really connect with other incredible people that are on this journey. And Lynette, because we've been in a group program together, the power that can be generated from people around you that are like-minded and inspiring it just accelerates you in your transformation.
You just rise even higher together.
You do.
It's amazing. I feel very blessed that I'm in that group with you.
Oh, so me too.
So you've got the talk on the 21st, you've got your group starting. Anything else incredible about, you're going to be a guest judge?
Yes. So I am actually expert judge for the mental health category and the wellness category. So that is a huge honour. And that is going to be, I think it's in London in April, but I'm judging just now. So I've got the finalists, and God, honestly, I was doing that on Thursday, and what an honour. Like, I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking, me judging this, seriously, but wow, that, what people share in the mental health space, and it's just, people are talking about it more, which is making people feel that they can stand up and without being judged. Because I know, like, I did an event in Glasgow a few weeks ago, and literally every woman that was in that, it was a Girl Tribe Gang one, and every single person in there felt the same. Fear of being judged, having goals, but actually not really knowing what was connected to them. Speaking of which, I've also got I'm doing a little goal setting one for women's
international.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad you got that. Yeah.
8th of March.
International Women's Day.
International Women's Day on the 8th of March. So I'm doing a little event there, goal setting and speaking about coaching and things. So I'm really excited. So things are taking off. I've got quite a few one-to-one clients that I work with, and even just seeing the transformations with people, Lynette, in such a short space of time, I just think I wish, my wish is that I never want people to let the fear of what others might think of them stop them, living their true purpose, because I think so many of us do, because of fear of failure, of fear of judgment, of fear of, putting our head above the parapet. So we play small. Yeah. And I read things, actually, again, going back to Wayne Dyer, he talks about don't die with the music still in you. And it's such a powerful thing. Oh, Lynette, it gets me so emotional. I've watched it 25 times, and every time he says it, I think, oh my God, don't die with the music in you. And because so many people get to their end of life and go, I didn't do the things I wanted to do because of X, Y, or Z. And it's always mindset and fear. And he talks about don't die with the music still in you, connect with your music and march to that beat. Be true to you. Yeah. Speak your truth and be you.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to take a stand, like Eminem sings. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Come on, let's rise together. Life is meant to be fun. We're meant to feel good.
We overcomplicate it. We overcomplicate it because of our stories of what we've learned.
Yeah, but not anymore. We're breaking.
Not anymore. We're breaking free.
Jill, you're incredible. You're a powerhouse.
So are you.
Somebody just asked there, with your course, how much time each week do they have to set aside to be on that?
So the course, so it's every 2 weeks. So 25th is the first one, and it'll probably be, it starts at 7 at night. So 7 till, I was going to do like 90 minutes to 2 hours, but I'm just going to run for like the 2 hours, and because I don't want to cut it short in 90 minutes. So I'm giving it up to the 2 hours, and it's every 2 weeks. The last one will be the 5th of May. So think, where do you want to be? If you're on the fence with this, right? Where do you want to be by the 5th of May, by just after, going into spring? How do you want to feel? And if you want to feel amazing, please connect and we can talk about it, because there's not a single doubt in my mind that every person in that group program with me is going to transform. I'm so excited. So not a lot. So it's going to just be like the 2 hours every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you some bits and pieces to do, but it's all things that are going to be incredible. I'm going to get you meditating. I'm going to get you doing the things that are super simple. It's just putting it into practice. Things that I've learned that I'm really, really passionate about sharing with others.
Yeah, and I think once you're in a group like that, you're being kept accountable, so you're more likely to follow through, like with the life coaching.
Definitely.
So good, Jill. So I will repost this straight away. Please put all your details on there. And your Instagram is just Jill Coaching, is that right?
Yeah,
for anyone that wants to connect straight away. But get in touch with Jill. She's open, she's super friendly. She'll reply to your messages. Is there anything else you want to share before you leave tonight?
No, not really. I think I've covered it all. You know me, Lynette.
I think we've covered quite a lot.
I could talk all night, so something come up.
What's Jill's biggest goal she's smashed on the journey so far? What's been your biggest goal you smashed this year, the last 12 months that you've been doing this?
Do you know the biggest goal was getting my accreditation in life coaching? Because I really, before I did that, I had, my belief in myself was like that. And as I said, the fear that I felt, I compared myself to everyone on it. I just thought I wasn't good enough. And I worked and pushed past that fear. And I remember at the end of it, when you graduate and your mentor and other people talk about you, and I remember getting messages and on the and I remember being in tears. I was on holiday. I was in Portugal with the family, and I was so emotional because people were saying all these amazing things like, you've got a gift, you need to share this with the world because this is what you're... And I thought, God, I did it, because I'd never ever achieved, and I had achieved things, like I got awards, and when I worked in the bank, I was always on incentive trips, and I won things. I was top branch and all of these things, but nothing ever made me feel
you're breaking
that
up.
I really achieved something for me. I would say nothing ever really made me feel that I achieved something for me until then.
Yeah,
and that was just about me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is an incredible course.
Yeah,
so good.
And I connected with you after it as well.
Well, before it. Yeah. Well, just at the start of your journey.
At the start, again. Yeah. And you'll know then, because I had limiting beliefs then. I phoned Lynette because I knew she'd done the course. I didn't know her. Didn't know she was Ali's sister. And I'm like...
That was so funny.
Oh, it's so funny. You were like, speak your truth. And that's where I get that. I talk about, say, speak your truth. That's where I got it from, this lady right here. Because she has always encouraged me to speak my truth. And she always said, you've said to me, anything that comes out is meant to come out. Do you know what I mean? Just trust yourself and believe in yourself. Don't doubt yourself when you know you know. But I think just do the inner work.
Yeah, I think for so many years I would say things and then I'd be like, oh, why did I say it? I've said too much. I've taken up too much space. And now I'm just like, just say it. And then if it comes out wrong, well, it's maybe meant to be heard that way. I don't know. You just have to let it go, don't you?
You do.
Every single moment, and accept that, you know, you're human. We're all human.
Totally.
We make mistakes. We say things that are not quite right. We do things in funny ways, but it doesn't really matter. Who gives a shit?
I know. And the thing is, there'll be people watching that going, well, how do you get to a point where you don't give a shit?
Meditate.
You know, how do you get to...
Meditate and invest in yourself. Like for me,
always.
For me, it's investment every single year. It's doing the work, the inner work, and doing like these seminars and courses and just go deep, deep, deep within yourself.
You do, because there's so much that you are holding on to. When I speak to people and now doing the more energetic side, everything is something, a trauma or a limiting belief even from childhood as to why people behave the way they do. And we can talk about, you know, vision boards, which are incredible. I've got them, and manifesting and meditation. But do you know what? That only takes you so far, because it's, and I've said this to people before, it's like sprinkling unicorn glitter over a pile of shit. See if you don't do the deep, deep work. And I mean, you've got to go in and feel the emotion, feel the pain and release it. Because, but again, it's letting go of that belief that if you feel pain, you're weak, or just get on with it. Just get on with it, you know, stop moaning, just get on with it. But what you're doing is you're constantly saying to yourself, that doesn't matter, you're not important. And that's got to go somewhere. And it goes deep, deep.
Yeah.
But you can let it go. But once you start meditating, you'll start feeling these emotions, and keep doing the inner work, keep doing it and doing it. And don't be scared of the emotion. There's times that I've gone into a session with my coach feeling on top of the world, 10 minutes and I'm like, oh, trying. And then as soon as it's done, I'm fine. You know, you've got to go there to let it go. Because if you don't let it go, you've no space for all the new stuff that you're supposed to have in your life. You're supposed to have it.
Yeah, I think if you keep, like, especially like we harden our hearts in life, and you know, the work that I do, it's all about softening the heart and opening that space, and letting out the emotions, because that's our gift. Like, it's our gift to cry. It's our gift to be emotional. But if you don't, if you harden up and don't let that out, it seeps out of you in many other ways.
Anger, resentment, fear, you know, it totally does. It is and I know it's uncomfortable for people at first. Right?
Yeah, but so is life when you just are stuck.
When you're playing small, you're playing small, because I really believe that we are supposed to have abundance in our lives. We block it. We block it because like I said, 50% of us, but we think it's 100, right? But it's not. We're going, oh, I want all of this. I want all this money, and I want all of this stuff, and I want all this happiness, and I want the love and everything, right? but there is something that is blocking it. And until we work on that and let it go and release it, there's no space to have it all. I think we're supposed to have it all, but we, through our conditioned minds, block it.
Yes, a great interview. Thank you so much,
You're
Jill.
so welcome. I've loved it.
Let's do this again in like another 6 months or 12 months. And like, I want to see you then. Like, you're already flying. I can't wait to see you grow and rise even more. It's exciting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lynette. Thank you.
And thanks to everyone for watching. And,
thank you.
Thanks for all your comments. Have a great evening.
I love that unicorn glitter over Kirsty Allen.
Glitter in the shit.
You get me though, right? Amazing.
Oh, thank you, Ali. See you later.
Oh, no. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. Let's go into Monday. Kicking ass. Feeling awesome. Feeling grateful and taking on the world. Boom.
Bye.